Other guys. Um, this video today, um, I'm going to publish it. I'm hoping that it comes out the way that I need it to come out so that I don't have to do it again. But it's a serious topic. It's a serious topic. Um, and I'm not necessarily following protocol so much. I have some things that spirit told me, spirit revealed to me, um, and I wrote them down, so they're not necessarily in any order. It was really bothering me. I'll be very, very honest. Like, I was up quite a while once this thing really, really hit me. Now, I'm gonna say also, maybe some of you have got it, maybe some of you already figured it out or whatever. Um, I think a lot of us African Americans have figured a lot out. I really do. Based on history, based on our own intuition and just, who we are as a people. But a lot of it's been based on history. And, I've even made videos where I have said some of the same things. I didn't know like all of it or why and everything, but I believe that I really got much of the answers of why last night. Um, and so I want to share it. I don't want to rattle on too very much. I want to kind of get right to it and and talk about this thing. Um, and if I look serious, it's because it is serious. It's very, very serious, and it's scary, and it's diabolical, and it is amazing to me how many people knew and were in on this and okay with this. Um, it's kind of it's not it's surprising, but it's not surprising, you know what I'm saying? Given our history and everything, but I'm hoping to connect the dots. I'm still getting stuff from spirit, so I may not have it all put together, but I think I got a lot of it. So, bombshell. I'm gonna give y'all the bombshell, and then I'm gonna talk over like a lot of these points that Spirit gave me and what to do. So, and again, maybe some of you guys have already figured this out. You know what I'm saying? I could be late. I could be late to the party. It could just be me like finally getting it, finally realizing it. I don't know, but either way, it needs to be out. It needs to be said, and we need to know. You know. Again, these things are not in order. They're just the way it hit my head, you know what I'm saying? But bombshell is that, as many of us already knew, the whole Make America Great and all of that was, again, when you go back to the time when they thought America was great, is when they were making the money. It's when we were in slavery. It's when we were giving free labor. Um, yeah. And Make America Great Again. When you use the word again, it depicts something that has happened before, and again, it would be the second time or however many other times. But that's what it means. I don't want to think too much and start talking too much and get off track. But so the whole thing was we knew, black people knew that literally is the only time that y'all could be talking about. And of course they denied it. Of course they said no. Of course they, tried to play in our face or whatever. And we're not crazy. We're not stupid. That was it. And the bombshell that came to me was that that was the plan. That was literally and truly the plan, was to put us back in slavery. And coming to my mind and hearing that and listening to that, and we say that and we joke about that, but the reality and the realness of that really hit me last night. Like, man, that really has been the plan all along. And it answers so many questions that I've had, and so many questions as to why things in America are the way that they are. Much of it is directed at us and putting us back in slavery. Now, a lot of it again was a lot of it again. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something at my front door. Um, a lot of it again is, it many of these laws and so forth are things that are in direct correlation to making Black people suffer to the point of us not having any other choice but to work for slave wages if we got any, and to put us back in slavery. So let me get back to this. So DEI and woke. Okay, now I'm gonna tackle DEI first because DEI was oh, let me say this too, and I'm sorry. All of this right now happening so fast, happening so rapidly, and happening so aggressively was because it was the plan back during Trump's first term, and he couldn't do it. It didn't. He kept getting stopped and sideswiped, and so many other things kept coming in the way, and so forth. And so this new election was the attempt. This was it to get it done. That's why things are coming so hard, so aggressive, and so, we're seeing all this crazy, outrageous stuff. Well, it's a part. This was all part of the plan, and this has been a well orchestrated, well thought out on their part plan. Lots of preparation, lots of people, a lot of things being strategically put in place. But again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But this is what the whole project and everything was. So, DEI and woke. So, let's talk about DEI. We know that DEI is not about Black. You know what I'm saying? But despite that, we know they look at and they consider DEI Black. Now, the reason for the attack on DEI is that they literally feel like it's been DEI and things like affirmative action, which we know that's gone too. They feel like DEI, so many of us didn't make it with our brain, didn't make it with our head, didn't make it with our talent. It was incentives and colleges giving us DEI or whatever so that we're doctors, we're lawyers, anything where Black people are advancing in record numbers, and us going to college and all of this, all these Black women becoming psychiatrists and all these, they wanted to attack that first because they figure if they took DEI away, so many of us are on it and getting it that it's going to affect us in a huge weight. We'd have to drop out of college. We'd have to, we wouldn't be able to go to college. I mean, that's why the big hit has been on colleges, universities, the education system, and the whole thing. They don't want us to be smart. They don't want us to learn. They really truly don't think that we deserve education. Like they really don't. They really don't. They really and truly want it back to where we weren't reading, we weren't understanding, uh, we didn't know nothing. We're getting in so many ways too big for our britches. And many of them hate that. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I say hate or don't like, I mean to the core of their being, they despise it. They despise it. We were never supposed to advance this far. We were never supposed to get homes in their neighborhood. You ever notice the hate when black people move into white neighborhoods and white areas that are supposed to be for rich white people? They despise it, they hate it, they pick at us, they call cops on us, they do all because it's their anger, it's their jealousy, because they don't feel we deserve that, because they still look at us as their slaves. And that's where we're supposed to be. Let me sidebar a little bit. I always wondered why it seemed like every year there's a new slave movie all the time, some slave reference, some whatever about slavery. And I said years ago they want us to remember that. It's not just Hollywood coming out with a new slave movie. No, they know we don't want to see that. They know that doesn't do anything to us. But for them, that is their way of humiliating us and bringing us down 15 pegs so that we can always remember where you were, remember who you are. You're our slaves. That's where you belong. That's what those movies have always been about. That's why we don't like them so much. And they know we don't like that. They know that because, again, I remember I said years ago, why they don't ever make Holocaust movies every year? Because that ain't something that they want to remember. They want to remember and keep showing us slavery, the humiliation, the beatings, to keep that in our head. It's this is who you are. And it makes them feel better. The ones of them, the ones of them who believe in that, want that, and are ready to bring that back, it's always been that plan to keep showing them this, keep showing them this. Because we need to get this drilled into them, and it makes us feel good, makes us feel better. We were rich, we were happy. So that was the thing with attacking DEI, with attacking student loans and grants and all that. That's to get our kids. Too many of us are in college. Too many of our kids are advancing way past white America and other ethnic groups, especially our women. The whole attack on black women, and I think I said this in another video, but that's something that has also been revealed to me. The whole attack on black women all this time has been, again, to humiliate us, your lashes, your eyelashes, your weave, your whatever, because they can't attack nothing else. They really can't. They can't say we're dumb. They can't say we're lazy. They can't, because what we're doing in society, going to college and opening up businesses and all these kind of things, shows that we're not ignorant. Shows us that if we have a chance to advance, we're going to, and we're going to exceed, excel. And so this whole attack on hating black women has been their amusement to continue to bring us down, to show, oh, well, I don't care if you are college educated, you don't have no hair. Even if you see, racism is very petty. Racism is very, very petty. And they found groups of black men to use against their own women and try and humiliate us and try to, try to humiliate us and say that other women were better and all of these kind of things. And, we don't want y'all. Yeah, you might have a college education, but you don't have no man. You know what I'm saying? It's all been an attack on black women mostly. Um, and, but they saw that that wasn't phasing us, it wasn't stopping us. It's also why all that hate enacted on us for all of this time that it's been these 4, 5, however many, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, real massive and real strong, because they also knew. See, a lot of these presidential elections and that stuff be planned already. A lot of times they know way far in advance who's going to run, who's potentially running, who, like, they already know. And so they wanted to build the hate for Kamala, for black women so much that when Kamala Harris is like, "I don't vote for no First of all, I'm not going to vote for no black woman, period. And she's not smart. She's not educated. She doesn't know anything. She's a whore. Even though we got a whole whore in the White House. And Russia knows she's a whore with all of her with her nude photos and all that stuff. And that is the reason why Putin and Russia put that stuff up there, was to humiliate Trump. But that's the real whore. Y'all know that's the real whore. They know Kamala Harris wasn't no whore. This was a college educated, dignified woman of color. And so that is also where a lot of the focus was. But let me get into this because uh so that was the thing about DEI, was them thinking that we had so many people. The reason for our progression, the reason for our getting jobs and all of this stuff, was because the benefits of DEI. And I'll get back to some of this stuff in a minute. But woke, remember I kept saying that I can't figure out why they keep attacking woke, because woke is a concept. Woke is a frame of mind. Um woke is a consciousness. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a consciousness. Okay. And I kept saying, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're attacking a concept, a mindset. Okay. Here's the truth about it. Woke, they know what woke is. They know it came from us. They know that. We ain't woke means advancement. Woke means progression. That's why the attack on woke. They want to stop our progression. They know if we're woke, if we're going to college, if we're opening up businesses, if we're getting out of that mindset of we're nothing, we're dirt, we're poor, we're on drugs, we're getting out of that. And too many of us are advancing and understanding that. And ending woke for them is stopping our progression, because woke for us means they know that's what it means to them. You know what I'm saying? We get the spiritual concept of it. We get, the truth of it, but in their mind and in their head, because they pervert every damn thing. So it means for them stopping our progression. That's what woke. That's why the attack on woke. Let me continue. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember right immediately after the election? Do y'all remember the phone calls? that were made to many of the people that the phone calls were made to were in college. They were in these universities and they were targeting specific black people. Yeah, and you know what? I don't think it was targeting specific black people. I think them targeting those black people was just a little icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? But that that whole thing was bigger than we realized. Them telling us, I forget how the call went, but it was something about we're going to need you to report at such and such 100 hours to a white van or whatever, something like that. They were saying you're going to be put back in slavery and you're going to be in row such and such on whatever. It was mean, it was evil, it was funny, and a lot of it was funny to them, a lot of them, that shit was funny. Even though we didn't see them laughing, it was strategic, you guys. It was strategic. They meant that shit. And that is some of when it comes to me that the realness of that is scary as hell because they really meant that. Because again, the plan really was to get us back in slavery. So they meant that shit. Remember how, well, we can't find anybody. We don't know where the calls were. They know. They know. That was just some more humiliation ritual because the plan was really to do that. Now, did they have some vans and all? Possibly. Possibly. They really probably did and still may have. Because I'm gonna say honestly, I don't know if we're 100% out of the woods, but I know the plan is backfiring in a monumental way that they did not anticipate. I'm gonna also say I don't think all white people even knew this plan. I think a lot of them did. I think a lot of people really got and understood the realness of what um this Make America Great and this whole Project 25, Agenda 47, what all that shit is, was that was the actual plan. I don't know if all white people really got it. I think a lot of them didn't, but I also feel like once the plan was put in place and if this shit had really worked the way they wanted it to work, that a lot more of them have been okay with it. I feel that way. I really do. I feel like a lot of them would have gotten on board. I think a lot of them who are even online talking shit to other white people, I think a lot of that is just them seeing that the shit didn't work because a lot of them were quiet when all of this was going on and in the works. And now that they see the shit unraveling, now they're getting online and telling other white people, see, you should have did this and see da 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 da. But they was on board with that shit. Don't get it twisted that now they're our friends, now they're our allies. Tread very, very lightly and keep your eyes open because a lot of that shit is just anger and regret that it ain't unfolding the way they thought it was going to unfold. So now they're getting online and they're ridiculing other white people and so forth. But if the shit had really panned out the way it was supposed to, they would have been on board with that shit. Just know that. Yeah, so that's why they were, targeting colleges and universities. Also, the thing about the federal jobs and federal workers and so forth, they know many, 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 many of us have those jobs. Cutting federal workers and all of that, massive layoffs and so forth were for us black people. This is why many of them were willing to sacrifice. They don't care. But again, it's hitting them in ways that wasn't predicted. And so that those massive layoffs, those cutting federal workers, and so many of us are on those jobs like that. You know what I'm saying? And so it was again supposed to hurt us. It was supposed to hurt us. Let me tell you something. Just the other week when Marjorie Taylor Greene, that ooh, that's a hateful woman. That's a demonic ass, hateful ass woman that got some shit in her heart that many of them, the far ones of them, love. They love it. That's why they love Trump. That's why they love Elon Musk. Because of the massive hate that they can identify with. But when Marjorie Taylor Greene got up there and said so boldly that federal workers don't deserve their jobs, federal workers don't deserve to get paid for what they do because she said something about them being lazy and all of this kind of stuff, and you know that wasn't for white federal workers. That was for us. See, one of the things that we got to remember when we as Black people look at us, ourselves as being Americans, many of them still don't think that way. They see us, slaves, unworthy, don't need to get a piece of the American pie, and then they see themselves as actual true Americans, patriots, and all that shit. All Another thing, they speak in code and have been speaking in code. So much of what they say and the way that they speak are dog whistles. It's dog whistles for themselves. And oh, well, they don't really know what we're talking about. That's another reason to stop our progression and to stop us from being in their circles too closely, because they speak in ways that we're not supposed to know and understand. So, in a lot of ways, it's good for our Uncle Toms, or however we want to say it, to be in those groups. But we need us to be in those groups, but still be loyal to us. Many of those who are in those groups and Uncle Toms and bootlickers and all that, they in with them. You see what I'm saying? They're in with them because a lot of that stuff, that's why it's so often it's the rich ones of us, the Clarence Thomases of us, because they got money. So a lot of the stuff that would affect the lower ones of us, or the ones of us that they would be able to subjugate again, the rich ones of us, the rich Latinos and stuff, and I'm getting ahead of myself, y'all. But the, they would be benefited by putting us back in slavery and hurting us, because it wouldn't affect them, because they're the ones that got the money and they were going to get subsidies, cutbacks, tax breaks, and all of this shit by cutting DEI and all of that. So let's get into that a little bit. These these Targets and these Walmarts and these businesses and so forth who were willing to cut off DEI and all that is because their loyalty to Trump, they know that Trump was going to reward them for they thought Trump was going to reward them for their loyalty or whatever of cutting black black jobs, DEI, and all of that. They were going to get big tax cuts, tax breaks, and they were going to be in Donald Trump's favor. They, in other words, were going to get a piece of the slavery pie. In other words, even all these Latinos for Trumps and all that, everybody sit back and talk about, well, why would Latinos work against their interests? Why would they do this to to hurt their own people? It wasn't to hurt their own people. It again was supposed to hurt us. And those Latinos for Trump and all that, those are the Latinos that do consider themselves white. Those are the Latinos and so forth that got money, That's why they were so willing to say, "Oh, well, it's not us. It's just the criminal ones of us." So they were willing to sacrifice them going back to their other countries or whatever, because they feel like the ones of us who are here and made it and have established and we have businesses and all of this, then we're not like them. So yeah, send the criminals back. Send the ones back who are illegal, who aren't really doing anything, because the ones of us who are legal and got businesses and homes and so forth, and we vote for Trump, we vote Republican, and many of them have for years, because they know and understand the plan too, about putting us back in slavery, slapping us down, humiliating us, getting us back in our place. And again, they thought that they were going to get big ass tax breaks. They thought they was going to get some free labor and shit from slaves. Yeah. Yeah. They wanted in. All the money pushing Trump was, yeah, they going to get a piece of that slavery pie. That's what they wanted. And that's what they knew, and that's what they understand, which is another reason why we as Black people don't have no friends. We don't have no friend. They knew. Many of them knew. I'm not saying all of them knew, but many of them knew. And they would sacrifice themselves. Some of the other ones who were just, they coming over here illegal and they're not established yet and all of that stuff. Yeah, send them back. It's okay. Because the ones who are here and establishing got businesses and homes and cars and da 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 da, and we got money, we gonna get a part of that slavery pie. Yeah. Um. Oh, black jobs thing. Just like we figured, and just like we knew when Trump talked about that the immigrants were taking black jobs, he meant that shit too. That was another dog whistle. He meant that shit too on some real stuff. He meant that because those working these fields, these white people with these big massive fields and farms and everything, they were supposed to send all them immigrants back, because Black people, for real, it's not a joke, we really were supposed to be the ones doing the work and back in them fields. That was supposed to be us. That's what the whole massive push for immigration was. But it's too many people. See, it's too many people that really didn't get it and really didn't know the plan, that are pushing and fighting back. And that's why, Trump is ignoring many of them, because there was a plan set in place and they just got to follow the plan. But the plan is unraveling and it's not working the way it's supposed to be working. But um yeah, that whole black jobs things, he was serious about that shit. We make jokes about that, we laugh about that shit, but that was really that is why he said that shit, is because, yeah, get them out of here so Black folks can do that shit. We're going to get them out of the colleges and we're going to go make them work fields again. That's the humiliation shit that goes along with racism and white supremacy, and bring these niggers down a peg or two. Shut the Black woman mouth. She talked too damn much. She getting way too ahead of herself. Put her ass back in the fields. Take off them weave. Take off them lashes. Get your nappy headed Black ass back out in the field. You doing too much. Yeah, and Black men too, of course. But yeah, okay. I can't guarantee y'all how long this video is gonna go. I'm gonna try to keep it. Um, yeah, the black jobs was a dog whistle. Okay, I've talked about all that. Okay, let's talk about um all this neo-Nazism, all this fascist shit, all this Elon Musk shit. Elon Musk has everything to do with all that is going on, because his money was going to help fund this shit. His money They had to have Trump. Trump was the only one, and they set up this regime and set everything in place as it's supposed to go with all those far right radical views to set this shit up in place and to put us in slavery. And here's the plan. The plan was to, this time when we go back into slavery, keep us in slavery. We were never going to get out again. And still, if they have their way, and if whatever works out any kind of way for us to actually go back into slavery, we're never going to get out. That's the plan, for us never to get out again. Um, all of this fascism, all of this, we were supposed to now be the new Jews, honestly. That's what all the neo-Nazi, that's what all of these white supremacist groups and all of those are supposed to be the foot soldiers. Those are going to be the ones that's going to keep us in line because they hate us enough. They're going to keep us in line. They're going to walk around with the guns and all that. That was going to be, that's why Trump don't mind them. That's why Trump loves them, because they hate us enough, and they were going to have the job of being able to keep us in our goddamn place. Hit us with the butt of the guns when we quit picking cotton and picking the berries and picking the tomatoes or whatever else that we were picking or whatever. They were going to be the guards. They were going to be the foot soldiers for us. And they're still in use. They're still, this is why Trump don't care about the folks like the January 6th. He know who they are, but they're going to be the ones that's going to get the jobs to keep us in line. And don't think that the Civil War or whatever is still out of play. This stuff is still all fresh and new. And just because the initial plan or just because some of this stuff didn't work, don't sit here and believe that it's all dead and done and over with and it's just, it just ain't gonna work now and they're not still planning stuff. That's what I want us to know. They're still planning stuff. There's a number of them that's still planning stuff because that is supposed to be the plan to how to make America great again. Is getting their slaves back. Um, why no reparations? Why no apology for slavery? Is because the plan was to put us back. That's why they're never going to apologize for slavery, because that has been the plan. We were never supposed to get reparations because they ain't sorry, because the plan is to put our black asses back in slavery. Why are those laws and stuff like that? I asked before, why are these Jim Crow laws and all of these slavery laws and all of these, these laws still on the books? Because they were planning on using them. And they still are planning on using that shit. That's why no apology. That's why, no reparations. Because it's still a part of the plan to put us back. And they're going to use that shit. Yeah, they're going to use that shit. And they use whatever they can anytime that they can, just like the voting shit. All of that voting stuff and using those laws and reviving those laws back to keep us from voting and things like that. Yeah. It's a part of the plan. The whole putting us back in slavery plan. They need those laws. They want those laws. Oh, why do we need new laws? Or will we just use the ones that we have? They were going to follow the book, the plan succinctly, step by step by step. Hmm. Um, I already talked about the Latinos and all of that stuff for Trump and everything. That's what that shit was about. Those are the ones who have money, and those are the ones who knew and who hate us enough and feel just like white people to, yeah, put our black asses back in slavery. Yeah. And their businesses and their whatever was going to help benefit and profit because they were going to use us for either free or whatever kind of lay. I don't know exactly how it was going to be, but yeah, work the dog crap out of us for free. And they were going to get tax cuts and all of this kind of stuff, just like those businesses that got rid of DNI. DEI. They sacrificed themselves for what was coming down the line. Yeah. Also, they're mad, angry, upset, and infuriated. See, here's another thing. We can't underestimate how mad they really are. All of this, us ridiculing them on TikTok and social media and all of that, they are furious. And I mean in a hateful, seething, can't believe it type of way. They are seething. They're not supposed to be out there right now protesting. We're supposed to be out there protesting so that, again, just like they saying, they need us and want us to take to the streets. So yeah, Trump is going to enact martial law. He's going to give these cops and stuff the right to do whatever the hell they want to do. Kill a whole bunch of us, put the rest of us up in camps, whatever. But our punishment was going to be our black asses back out there in them fields. That's what the punishment was going to be. That they were not supposed to be out here protesting Trump and Elon Musk and all of these policies. That was not supposed to be planned. And they're furious. And I can't get over to you enough the anger, the seething. Literally, y'all. You know, me having the gift of being an empath is not just for me to boast on here and just say that. I feel energies. I feel it. And when I tell you they are seething with fury and anger because it's not going the way it was supposed to go. I can't emphasize that enough. I really can't. Like I literally can feel it as I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, it ain't no joke. They meant that shit and they mean that shit and they want this shit to happen because that is the only way that they are going to have to save themselves and their numbers and their generations and whatever. They have to stop us. We've gotten too far ahead. But the thing is, Trump never, and I'm going to tell you this right here because when I say I feel stuff, when this was coming to me last night, I'm telling you with all sincerity, Trump did not anticipate how many white people really are on these subsidies and these programs and are getting benefits from the government. He didn't know that. I'm going to tell you another thing that I feel and believe in my heart. Trump really was trying to help his people. And I don't say that because I'm having sympathy for Trump. I'm telling you what spirit is giving me in the way that that he gave it to me. And there really is a disappointment, I think. I really feel that there is really truly a disappointment in Trump's heart because this really was an agenda to make America great again and it's falling apart. And now they're mad at him and he didn't mean for this to happen. But I'm telling you, it was his ignorance to the fact that that was the plan, but he didn't realize how many white people were going to be affected by this. And now, when it's touching white people, when it's hitting white people, they can't take it. They can't take it. See, we've been going through this, and that's the thing that they weren't anticipating. They didn't realize that all the years of us suffering and going through this stuff would make us this resilient and make us like we can suffer. We can eat macaroni and cheese for a week. We can not have eggs. Like literally, I haven't not had eggs, but if I didn't have eggs, I would use potatoes. 3.99 for 5 pounds or whatever, and sometimes cheaper. But they don't have the resistance. They don't have it in them because they haven't ever had to suffer. So when the suffering starts hitting them a little bit, they can't take it and they're mad and they're upset and they're taken to the streets and they're taking it out on him. But this administration did not anticipate it happening like this. He didn't anticipate, he didn't know how many of them really were intertwined with us and didn't realize that when you hit us and when you try to hurt us, it's going to hurt them. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan. I believe with all my heart that Trump did not anticipate how many white people really were. And I think a whole lot of white people didn't realize how many white people were on these subsidies and how that shit, when you start knocking that shit down and taking that stuff down, that it's going to hit them too. Because many of their livelihoods really is on DEI and really is on food stamps and Medicaid and welfare, and their children really do need those programs and those, they need it. And so you start taking it and you trying to hurt us, but it's hurting them because they really feel it. See, again, we know how to suffer. We know how to suffer. We know how to make do and how to do without. They never had to. And it's hitting them quick and hard and fast. And it's overwhelming them, whereas it was supposed to overwhelm us. But they didn't anticipate our strength and our ability to survive. They really didn't. Um, there was something else I was going to say about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've talked about that. The attack on the Constitution. Let's just get to that real quick because I'm pretty sure that thought will come back. The attack on the Constitution, why that was so strong and so hard, and why so many of them sat back and won't say anything and just keeping their mouths shut or whatever, you know, that was because it's in the Constitution about us and slavery and everything. That's in so many ways our protection. That is why Trump wanted is attacking the Constitution. It ain't about white people's rights. It ain't about doing stuff to harm and hurt white people. It was because our protections as black people and us not being in slavery and whatever it is that they put in there about us with slavery was that the sacrifice of them of whatever little things might have been aimed at them and might have hurt a few of them a little bit would have been worth it if he could knock down the Constitution enough to take away the rights, our free rights, and return us back to slavery. And I hope that made sense to you guys. So that's why the attack on the Constitution. That's why all of these executive orders are supposed to be, again, so quick, so fast, and hurt us so quick and so fast, and knock us down to where we're begging and we're poor and we can't make it and you're taking our federal jobs and you're taking our teacher job, you're taking these things away from us so hard and so fast, and that it's going to affect us so much that we're going to be begging for work, begging to go back into the fields, begging for them to because we homeless, we don't have no way to make it, we can't. That's what it was supposed to do. But instead, it's hitting white people hard and fast. Because here's the real truth of the matter. What a lot of white people don't realize is that many of us are not even on the programs. That's the thing. Y'all getting I'm going to tell y'all something. This thing about farmers in Nebraska, and how Nebraska is about to file bankruptcy and everything, and all the immigrants are gone. We supposed to be there right now doing that work. We're supposed to be doing that work right now, and ain't nobody doing it. Not us. And the immigrants are scared and gone. You know. So they're mad at Trump about immigration, of course. But um, yeah, I forgot my thought. It'll come back. Um, that's why the attack on the Constitution. That is why so many of them have been sitting back, not saying anything, just letting this happen. This is why things are happening like this at these town hall meetings where these politicians have no answer because they're just following the playbook. They knew what was supposed to happen, but they can't say it. It could be also why they want to stop the town hall meetings is because they want to be able to say these things in secret and not have it televised or whatever, so that they can say, look, y'all, we had a plan. It ain't work. Or look, y'all, this wasn't supposed to hit y'all. And now white middle class and older white people and rich white people, now they're wanting to know why all these things are happening, and the congressmen and their Republican leaders can't tell them because, again, you can't say out loud that, well, it was supposed to be black people hurting. It was only supposed to be them. They can't say that out loud. So I don't know. I think a lot of the canceling the town halls is because of the violence, is because white people are so outraged, and because the plan didn't work, you know. Some of them knew, some of them don't. But again, I think it's because they just don't have the answers to tell them, because this was supposed to be the plan. We don't have anything else. This was the plan, to put them back in slavery, and then everything was going to be okay. The other reason why a lot of white people, I got it written down here somewhere, but I don't know where it's at, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. The other reason why I always wondered why white people always talking about they tax dollars, they tax dollars, they tell, oh, I pay taxes. But I always wonder, like, damn, all of us pay taxes. Our tax dollars don't matter because, again, they look at us and then them. They're the real Americans. They're the real patriots. The rest of us are just tag-alongs, and we don't matter. And what we do, that we're going back to slavery, so our tax dollars don't matter. So here's the way Spirit gave this to me. White people think that they emphasize their tax dollars so much because they feel like their tax dollars are paying for our welfare, our food stamps, our Medicaid, all of these programs that they think help us, the DEI and all that they think help us. And so many of us are on it. They literally feel like all of us are on it. Um, and so if they cut that, then white people won't have to have that part used for their tax dollars. Well, you won't be getting food stamps off me. I pay taxes. You won't be getting your food stamps off of me because Trump is going to cut it or Trump has cut it or whatever. So they feel like their tax dollars are the most important because if Trump cuts that off from us, then they don't have to pay that. And so they get to keep more tax dollars because we have the black people or the slaves or whatever off of it, the Medicaid, the all of these kind of things. And so you can keep more of your tax dollars. Again, this is Trump and these rich, super rich white people not realizing how many regular white people and working class white people and even upper level white people are on food stamps, are on Medicaid, are on housing, all are on all of these programs that again are supposed to hurt us. That's why they're always talking about their tax dollars. They really feel that kicking us off of these programs, I'm sorry, y'all, kicking us off of these programs was going to hurt us and benefit them because they won't be having my tax dollars to use. That's how they think. Again, not realizing just how many of them really are being sustained by those programs. And we don't get that stuff. That's the other point I was going to make a few minutes ago. They don't realize how many of us really don't, we don't get it. Like we really don't. Y- You all are getting the big food stamps and the big, again, that's what I was going to say. I didn't realize how much of these farms, white farms, get food stamps and so forth to buy food and buy the seeds, and they're getting cutbacks and tax cuts and everything. I also didn't realize, I heard a white guy talking about this on TikTok, how these farms and so forth, these big white farms who sell to the stores and sell to these businesses and so forth, spray this shit with chemicals and everything to again harm us. But they get subsidy. They get kickbacks and stuff from those companies for allowing them to put that shit on produce and everything and then sell it in Walmart to the niggers or whatever. I also didn't know, this is new to me. I also didn't know that white black farmers don't get a whole bunch of those subsidies. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that they didn't get those subsidies and only white farmers. And this is why when you cut those subsidies and programs and things like that, it hit white folks the hardest because they're the ones that's getting the kickbacks. Let me go on. Um, yeah. So, and also, these people who are in Trump's administration and all of these kind of things, they're strategically set. Cash Patel, RFK, all this. Those people are strategically set in place. They're supposed to be there. It ain't about, oh, they're incompetent and why is he all of them are there strategically placed in their place to attack black, to hurt us, and to make us suffer. Every last one of Trump's policies, if you guys really look at it and think about it, have been aimed at us, aimed at hurting us, disenfranchising us. But again, it's backfiring. But if you look at everything Trump has done so far, it's been about hurting us, kicking us, and all of these other things that he continues to do, like trying to close down I think they said Elon Musk or whatever, but I see them as one and the same. So the same policies apply to both of them, and still to stick it to black people. That Montgomery, Alabama museum, I think it's the whole museum, I believe, that they talking about Elon Musk is trying to close it down, but it's to hurt us. Is to hurt us. And again, they keep trying to do outrageous things to get us into the street, to get us hurt so bad, and to infuriate us and to hurt us. And don't be surprised when they continue to do more and more and more outrageous stuff. They're probably going to start these monuments and things like that, these black monuments and so forth that they put up in place of a lot of these Confederate soldiers and stuff. Just wait, they're going to be attacked. They're going to be attacked eventually. Okay, I made that point. Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, they talking code, they talking dog whistles. We know that already. Another thing that I think has strategically been put in place is a minimum wage. You see how we keep how inflation and all of this stuff keeps affecting everybody and hitting everybody, and the minimum wage won't change, the minimum wage won't go up, and we're not getting our even the benefits or whatever that people get don't seem to be able to cover the housing costs that keep skyrocketing, and people aren't able to buy homes and all of this stuff, and minimum wage and all of that keeps being the same. It's because we're supposed to be the ones on minimum wage. We're not supposed to be making all of these six-figure incomes, seven-figure incomes, and all of these things. They're not increasing it so that it can disenfranchise us, hurt us, keep us poor, keep us in poverty. But again, it is affecting them. White people are being put out. More and more white people are going homeless, homeless, homeless. And we have seen this across America. We've seen it. And again, this is why this was supposed to be the master plan. Get us out of these jobs, out of college, out of whatever, back into slavery so they can be great and make money and get rich again. That's why, that's why, um, that's why minimum wage is not being increased and everything. So again, it really does go back to them hurting us, but consequently hurting themselves. But the plan was always to hurt us. Let me continue on. Um, okay, and that's supposed to be the new. Yeah, okay. I said everything. I said everything I needed to say. So let me end by saying what to do. What to do with all of this? Stay vigilant, stay woke, keep your eyes open, know that that was the plan, know that that is still the plan. I just don't know if they have a plan B, C, D. Like, I don't know. But I know many of them are seeing the plan unravel, the plans unravel. And I would not I don't put it past them, and I would always almost expect for them to have some backup plans and something else to say, well, if this doesn't work, or now that this has happened, we need to do this. So this is why I'm saying we got to stay vigilant. We can't run out into the streets protesting and marching. We can't get emotional or whatever. We gotta stay more vigilant. We gotta stay in school. We gotta keep getting degrees. We gotta keep opening up businesses. Here's another thing that now is a good time for me to say this because Spirit told me this like some weeks ago. One of the main things that we as Black people have to do to strengthen our Black economy, our own little Black economy, is the importance of, for real, we got to buy Black. For real, we got to support each other. We really got to support Black businesses. That's going to be Huge. We got to put our money with ourselves. Um, the other thing, oh, don't let me lose that thought. The other thing is we have to start reaching out to other Black countries, nations, and do business with them. That is what it is. We have to, whatever kind of business you got, t-shirt, shoes, whatever, you're going to have to get out of America and start crossing borders. And whether it's online or whether you know some Jamaicans, you know some Black Latinos, you know, like whatever it is, we got to connect our businesses with more international businesses of Black nations, Black people. That's going to help strengthen our Black dollar. We got to stay connected. We have to fight for one another. We're going to have to talk for one another. We're going to have to stand up for one another. Those suckers who don't want to protect Black women, those bootlickers and coons who want to get the white, fine, go get them, do whatever. The ones of us who are left have to huddle together. We have to. Don't also be so quick and so easy to wanna, oh well, let's join with the Latino, let's join with the these people and the that. Be careful, be careful, because again, them Latinos who sold us out and sold out the uh their other ones of coming over here, and the other, 'cause I heard a Hispanic woman talking about she's willing to sacrifice them going back or whatever. It's because she's one that knows what the plan was. And again, many of them Latinos was gonna have them on whatever their farms, their land, their businesses or whatever. They was gonna get part of the slavery pie. That's why they were so gung ho. I'm telling you. And even some of these bootlickers and coons and all that, they was gonna be, yeah, y'all know back in the day, some rich Black people and stuff like that have slaves. It's gonna be the same thing for their businesses, for their whatever. I don't think all of us were gonna be in the fields, but yeah, we were gonna be working for slave labor, slave wages, and they were gonna make shit so hard and so tight, and them um tie them chains and whatever, make them so tight on us and on our neck and everything, that we were going to be begging to be in the field. We were going to be begging for any kind of job. Uh, um, yeah, that's it. We need to get some passports though, y'all. That's the other thing. Continue getting your passports. Continue getting your passports. Continue protecting yourself. Get protection. Um, the other thing, they're still ramping up for civil war. There's um these I just read something about Cash Patel hiring people from UFC fighting or whatever. Like I didn't even read it because I was getting ready to do this video, but I just saw something like that. They are um training, they are getting prepared for war, for fighting, for shooting, for all of this training and shit. All them neo Nazis, um, all of these white groups, white supremacist groups and stuff. Those are to fight us because they know we're gonna fight. That shit is to keep us in line. All that MMA fighting and all of that kind of shit, that's to fight us. Okay, they know we're natural warriors. They know we're natural fighters. All that training, all that brutalizing, all of that shit is so that they can fight us, and they probably want to fight us on the streets right here in America. So that ain't happened yet. I think it's still in the plan. I think it's still in the works. Black men, you you know, hey, y'all kind of need to get off the internet about black women hair weave and makeup and shit, and maybe y'all need to be fighting. Maybe y'all need to be training. Maybe y'all need to, I would not underestimate the power that some of these white guys and even ones who are with them, joining with them, have in fighting and training. Y'all just got some old street whatever, and you just, looking at, oh, I'm gonna knock a white boy out. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It ain't that I don't have confidence in our natural abilities and natural warriors and all of this kind of stuff. These folks have been training, and they've been training for a long time, and they got a mission, and they're on a mission, and they know what they're supposed to do. And Trump knows that he has them to go wild, go crazy, do some January 6th shit, and they plan on bringing it to us. So we just need to be ready. I'm gonna stop right there. I have gone. This is my longest video ever. But it was important. It needed to be said. I think that I covered everything. I think I said everything. We can't trust nobody. We have to gather together within ourselves. We got to help each other, help our elderly, help our children, but we got to help each other. It ain't no more separating. You see how white folks are together, you see how Latinos and every other group is together. We got to come together. And I think we're doing that. I really do. But they're coming for us, and they got a plan. We need to be praying harder. We need to be doing some rituals, spells, and whatever the hell else we need to do. The women, you know what I'm saying? Men too, but we have to do what we did before to survive. We know the things that our ancestors did. We got to bring that shit back. We're stronger now. We're more educated now. We're more prepared now. We're smarter. This again is why they want to get rid of woke, because woke is progression. Woke is us being wake to the bullshit that they're doing and everything. They don't like that shit. We're not supposed to be smarter than them. We're just not. We're not supposed to be smarter than them. They're supposed to be smarter. They're supposed to be the superior race, and we're making them look bad. We're making them look dumb. We're on internet, all over the internet, saying they're dumb, saying MAGA stupid and what. They don't like that shit. True or not, they don't like it. So, you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna post this video, and hopefully, it all goes well. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit all notifications so that you know when I upload new videos. You guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until the next video. See you next time.